this is the hairstyle I'm trying to achieve. I probably won't be able to achieve those lines on my own just because I'm doing it on my own head. But this is generally, you know, kind of my direction, so. Hey all stars, so I decided to record how I actually braid my hair. So this is going to be a little bit more intentional than what you've seen prior. So I'm going to try and walk you guys through step by step what I do, how I actually do it myself. I usually don't do my hair in my washroom, so bear with me. Because it's a long process for me. So I'm gonna try and make sure I go over every step and show you guys a little bit of how I do it and how it's worked for me over the last however 30 years. I've been braiding my own hair, but yeah. So right now I just washed my hair. If you watched everything I use in terms of beauty and hair and all of that, you know that I use Shumara products. So I ordered this rack from Amazon to kind of have the hair on. Before I would just put it on a chair or whatnot, but I'm gonna try that rack. This is my first time getting it. But with the combo that I bought, it also came with these combs. One comb fell, and this apparently is for the gel. I don't need that just yet because I'm going to try and part everything first to give myself a good idea, because parting to me is what is the make or break. That is what determines how neat your hair is, how good it looks, right? So I find the partings to be the most important. So I'm going to try this comb. I tested it a little bit yesterday and it was really good, but in the past I've used this comb from Fenty Beauty, which was gifted to me by the brand. So we're gonna give this a shot. If this doesn't work, then I'm gonna go back to this one. So this is the hairstyle I'm trying to achieve. I probably won't be able to achieve those lines on my own just because I'm doing it on my own head. But this is generally, kind of my direction. So let's see if I can achieve it. Well, like I said, I'm not trying to make it exactly the same because to do the separate lines on your own hair is very hard. I've tried it, but I will at least use that's the style that I want to achieve. So let's get into it. First thing I do, like I said, is parting. I'm going to use this side. Part it up, or line it up rather. So the lines that I'm doing right now are not perfect lines. They're just to give me an idea of what everything is going to look like, and then I go from there. So I use this mirror from Simple Human to just kind of, look at the back and whatnot. So that way I can see what's going on in the back as I continue to braid. But I'm going to line up everything first and then apply gel to make the lines straighter. This part that I'm lining up right now will have 2 braids, so the thicker one, and then I will cut out the smaller, thinner braid from this section as well. So because I don't have a lot of hair in the back of my head, in that bottom part, I'm going to do single braids back there. I also find that when I do cornrows all the way to neck, to the bottom of my, or the top of my neck rather, that it pulls the hair and it breaks, and I'm really trying to avoid breakage. So I'm just gonna do a few, maybe about 6 single braids there, not too heavy. Just that way I'm not pulling on the hair as much. So that's why I made that line. Braiding each section before I actually start braiding the hair properly will ensure that I don't get hairs stuck in between each braid. This is important, especially when you're doing your hair yourself. I use this gel to secure the lines and to also to prevent flyaways. By using the gel first, it makes the line straighter, and I love that. So setting up the hair to make sure that I have easy access when I start braiding. I also use these clips to keep the hair in place to make sure that each braid is neat and the lines stay neat. This just makes the braiding process a lot easier for me. Brushing the hair also makes sure that there's no flyaways, and I do that in the front as well. This creates a nice smooth braid. So notice how I start first just with my own hair, and I do this to prevent my hair from pulling out. I'm really trying to protect my edges as they're not full, so I start adding hair about a few inches away from the front of the braid. And I will continue to add hair to make the braid thicker and fuller to also give the look that I wanted. Also notice that by adding the gel, it makes the braid smooth and it creates the illusion of lines throughout the braids. Depending on how thick you want the braid to be, you can continue to add more hair as you go. I don't want my braids to be too thick so it doesn't pull my hair out, as my hair is very fine. I also braid to the very tip of the hair, that way it's nice and long, even though I will still put the hair in hot water. Now that I'm doing the smaller braid, I do the same thing, make the lines very straight with the help of the gel. I double check the back with the mirror that I have sitting on the chair in front of me to make sure the line is nice and straight. Because this braid is a lot thinner, I won't be adding as much hair, but I will still proceed in the same way I proceeded with the first braid, starting off braiding my hair first and then adding hair as I go. Like I said, I don't want this braid to be too thick, so I double check to make sure it's not too thick, and I minimize the amount of hair that I add. I also use the gel to ensure that it's nice and smooth, no flyaways, and the hair looks sleek. I basically repeat what I showed you for each braid, making sure that each line is straight, using the clips to hold the hair back to ensure that the hair does not go into the other braid while I'm braiding, as that can be very difficult when you're braiding your hair, and it tends to happen a lot. So you want to make sure you're using clips to hold the hair and to make sure you have a seamless braid. I always double check the braid with a mirror to make sure everything is straight. So basically having 3 mirrors is key to ensure that, it's a smooth process, hair doesn't overlap, and the lines are straight. Brushing the hair again just allows everything to lay flat and makes the braiding process easier for me. It is extremely important to make sure you're double checking, even triple checking each braid. The worst thing is to finish a braid and realize that there's hair from the other braid that gets mixed in or the lines are not straight. So I say double check, triple check. That way you don't finish the braid if there's a mistake, and you can take it out before you go too far. After doing the last corn roll, I proceed to doing the single braids at the back. I basically start with a certain amount of hair and just attach it. I usually do it in more of a knotless fashion. That way it's not really pulling out of my hair and it's easy to take off when I'm taking out the braids. Now it's time for the edges. I use this black edge control to fill in my edges as they are very fine. Then I use the tip of the comb to make lines to give it a more natural look. Then I use this other edge control to just create more of a pattern. And I feel like this is subjective, whatever kind of floats your boat. I like more of a natural vibe, hence I do it this way, but then I pull it back just to kind of give it more of a natural look. I also use this gel to reinforce the black edge control, and I find that it lasts a lot longer when I do this. I use the tip of the comb to make patterns, basically to kind of give more of a natural feel. Make sure you don't add too much of the clear edge control because it can leave a white cast, but I do like this Fenty edge control as I find that it definitely keeps my baby hairs intact, and literally this lasts throughout the whole day regardless of how hot it is outside. Once I finish applying the edge control, then I add mousse. This particular mousse was just in my house and I didn't have anything else, so I used it and I found that it worked really good. I put a lot all over the braids, the cornrows, and the ends of the braids. I find that this adds sheen, it prevents the flyaways from kind of sticking out. And I think it also adds to the longevity of the hair. It just really keeps everything in place, including my edges. So I'm all for it. After doing this, I add the ends of the braids into hot water to seal the ends. Even though I braided to the very tip, I find that this is a fail-safe way to prevent the hair from unraveling. Then I take out any excess water so it doesn't burn me. And also, of course, who wants to walk around with wet hair? Then I take one of the single braids from the back and I wrap it around all the hair to create a fun ponytail. I find that you can do this if you want to leave the ends out, but if not, you can just twist the ends after putting it into a ponytail. So then you twist the ends into a bun. And because I wanted a clean, classic look, this is what I did. I just twisted around a couple of times, and then I use a hair clip to secure the bun. If there are any ends that are kind of flying away, I just tuck them in to create a nice neat look, and voila. Keep in mind the mousse will dry, so you see the whites, and then there you go. That's the finished look. I love it. It's fun. It looks great, and I'm happy with it. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns on how I get this done. I would be more than happy to respond in the comment section and let me know what you think. Let me know if this was helpful. Thanks for watching.